Hi everyone, welcome to episode 8 of the Bible in a Lifetime podcast, where we take a deep dive into scripture going verse by verse using multiple translations to get some insights. If you like this podcast, please consider becoming a monthly patron over on patreon.com/fullofgracetv or go to fullofgrace.tv/give for a one-time contribution. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can click the thanks button below. So last time we left off at John the Baptist and Jesus' disciples baptizing in the Judean countryside. And today we'll hear how this sparks a discussion among the disciples, and it gives John the Baptist a chance to make things clear about his role as witness of Jesus. So let's begin reading at John 3:25 in the NRSV. Now a discussion about purification arose between John's disciples and a Jew. They came to John and said to him, "Rabbi, the one who was with you across the Jordan, to whom you testified, here he is baptizing, and all are going to him." Here it seems John's disciples were discussing purification, or as the New American Bible and NLT say, ceremonial washing or cleansing. They were discussing this with either a Jewish leader or just a resident of Judea where they were baptizing. Some even think it could be Nicodemus because of the previous story with Nicodemus and the importance of being born again of water and the Spirit. Some scholars even go as far as to suggest that it could be Jesus because of the discourse that follows. Regardless, it was a discussion between John's disciples and someone, apparently, as we'll see, about the comparative value of John's baptism and Jesus' baptism, and more generally the value of the old ceremonial laws. We must remember that here we are seeing the turning point of salvation history. John the Baptist is a sort of bridge prophet between the old and new covenant. He is the last of the prophets which heralded the coming of Jesus the Messiah. As such, it is through John and his disciples that we are experiencing this metamorphosis in our understanding of God's grace. Here, John the Baptist will remind us what John the Evangelist has been trying to tell us from the beginning, what we've been hearing up to this point in the Gospel, that the old forms are passing away and the new forms are coming in. And it is this man, Jesus, who is the ultimate revelation of God. So John's disciples, understandably, feel that anxiety of change and become concerned that people are leaving John. As the NLT puts it, everybody is going to him instead of coming to us. They might even be concerned that the people are abandoning Judaism altogether by following Jesus. And John is about to make things clear for them, that everything they've known up to then about the law and the prophets and even John the Baptist's ministry points to Jesus. Let's continue. John answered, "No one can receive anything except what has been given from heaven." It's interesting here how the Knox translation renders it this way. John answered, "A man must be content to receive the gift which is given him from heaven and nothing more." And the Jerusalem Bible puts it this way: "A man can lay claim only to what is given him from heaven." Point being that though John's disciples may be worried that John's achievements are being overshadowed, John is humble and knows that the success of his ministry is attributed to God, and ultimately the goal is to make way for Jesus. His disciples may have seen in John a Messiah figure. Maybe it would be John who would free them from Rome and restore the kingdom of Israel. John, after all, was respected by the people at large, and he had garnered many followers, and he was even speaking out against some of the leaders. But alas, John could only lay claim to what was given to him. It was not his role to be this political Messiah figure that the people were wanting from him, even if that was a tempting prospect, to be a leader and king of a people. He did not snatch at something that was not his to claim. His success was wrought through humility in accepting God's will. I think sometimes when we're like John and become really successful in something, we become proud of our own achievements. We think it's all our doing, and we don't recognize God's grace along the way. This inevitably becomes the downfall of many powerful people who end up thinking they're invincible because of their much success. Here, John reminds us that what we have comes from heaven, and we can lay claim to it because it is a gift given by God, not a payment for our accomplishments. He continues, "You yourselves are my witnesses that I said I am not the Messiah, but I have been sent ahead of him." Or as the NLT says, "I am only here to prepare the way for him." He continues, "He who has the bride is the bridegroom. The friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly at the bridegroom's voice. For this reason my joy has been fulfilled. He must increase, but I must decrease." I think the New American Bible does a better job here at illustrating what it means, as it renders it this way. The one who has the bride is the bridegroom. The best man, who stands and listens to him, rejoices greatly at the bridegroom's voice. So this joy of mine has been made complete. He must increase, I must decrease. John the Baptist is not just any friend. He has an important role to play in the wedding. In Jewish tradition, this friend of the groom would arrange things between the groom and the bride, helping them arrange the wedding, a sort of a liaison between the two, a go-between, so it could go smoothly, until the bride and groom meet again at the wedding. It was a role of responsibility and honor. So too John the Baptist helped the bride, the people of God, meet Christ the groom. So John can't help but rejoice that his work, because it has been in cooperation with the will of God, has become sanctified for a great purpose and crowned with glory.
You will go before the Lord to prepare